What perfectly innocent search turned out to be porn? Blueberry cream pie. Wasteland was a popular airsoft gear website in Norway back in my young days. And you would write wasteland. No. Wasteland, as something completely different. And I would often write, out of habit on my mother's laptop lol. When I was younger and too dumb to remember to bookmark sites, I would just go to them by searching them or typing the domain name in the address bar. One time, I tried going to GameFAQs, and missed a letter, which was how I learned that GameFAQs was a porn site. Not a fully innocent search. But back in about 2004 my colleague was trying to convince me that Snoop Dogg did a porn film. This was before Google really censored and filtered searches. And when he Googled, Snoop Doggy dog porn, well, Google focused on the dog porn aspect of the search. Late to this but hopefully will make a few laugh. When I was in lower primary about 7 or 8 me and another girl were doing a project. No idea what for but we needed a picture of Prince Albert. So we Google searched an image and we were using the one computer connected to the fancy ass new whiteboard we had gotten in our classes at the time. So basically me and this girl exposed about 38-year-olds to a huge screen full of dig pics with piercings. Had to show the teacher that when you search Price Albert it would come up again cause she didn't believe me. Lol, I can still remember her face of regret. Edit. Thanks for the awards guys. Blonde cowgirl. I was looking for character art for a Western TTRPG. I facepalmed pretty hard. I teach ESL and when a student asks me what X word means, I sometimes use Google Images to show them, as opposed to just looking up the word. It helps them remember. I got asked what the word, string, meant by a class of 5th grade boys and it seemed like an innocent enough word. The image result showed girls in string bikinis. It wasn't porn but it was a bit racy for kids that aged and at that time of day and in that setting. I don't use Google Images for kids anymore. School project when I was younger, had to do a PowerPoint on the seasons. So I typed in, hot, to Google Images. I learned a lot that day. When my family first got the internet like 20 years ago now I remember we were just having fun looking stuff up and my little brother wanted to look up his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys and see what other ones they had. That seemed pretty simple to me so I figured we'll just look up the company that made them and go from there. The company that made them was called Playmates. Searched Google Images for pterodactyl. Scrolled down and was visually assaulted by a picture of a naked woman getting railed by a pterodactyl. This makes me think of a post I read some years ago. This guy was filling out a test in school and had to list his ethnicity. He Google searched on Caucasian but misspelled Caucasian. Hilarious. Had one come up at work I had to look up very carefully. It is called the DIG system. It's hard to believe until you see it. But basically it's a maths resource for schools. I was crying with laughter at the website purely because the wording did not help its case. I'm surprised IT didn't phone me up to ask what I was doing. For those too scared to search. We called it multilink when I was at school. It's basically those clicky cubes used to teach counting basic addition. Back in the late 90s. I was giving a talk on the internet and dial-up tech to a few hundred people and as a demo wanted to show White House Gov but by habit of typing com after everything. Went to the com site which ended up on a huge screen while I was facing the crowd. Talking. Waiting for the site to load on dial-up. Back in the day when I used Hotmail, I accidentally typed Hotmail. Nearly had a heart attack because I was 14 and on a public computer in the library. White House. Com got me in trouble in middle school whilst researching the president's cat's name for a school project. In the computer lab at school. With sound on lol. I was a little young to realize I needed to specify. Sporting goods. After. Digs. Virgin. Was booking a flight. Socks. This was in the good old days before Microsoft fixed that Bing algorithm that was really good at finding porn. Edit. I mean the good old days of Bing porn, y'all. Not the good old days of search engines. When I was in elementary school we were to complete an assignment on a foreign land. I chose to do mine on the capital of Iraq, Baghdad. Being around 11 or 12 years old I must have missed the H, and what I saw still haunts me to this day. On the bright side, I'll never forget how to spell Baghdad. Somewhere between age 12 and 14. Searched up XXX. Because the new XXX movie starring Vin Diesel was coming out. To find websites back then it was pretty normal just to type in name of the thing. Instead of using a search engine. Ended up overloading my parents' computer with porn viruses and they had to take it in to get it wiped and reset. Early 2000s I worked at a machine shop and I was tasked with helping revamp website and search results. One of our big products went by several different names. Freeze plugs, Welch plugs and expansion plugs. Was sitting with the owner. running searches to see where we ranked on Google and others. Expansion plugs did not return the results we were looking for. Looking UO Misty Pokeball from Pokémon. First image was her giving birth to Pokeballs. Edit. No, I'm not giving. Links, sources, or sending it. I saw it when I was 13 and was frocking mortified on why anyone would draw such stuff. 17 years later I had a hallmate who would kick my door in to show us gore furry. Trap porn. He had 3 TB of trap porn. I want to die. Edit 2. You people are sad sick frocks. How to deal with hotness. Deep search led me to porn. Just wanted to cool off. GIMP. GIMP is a software, which if I recall correctly, is Ms. Paint on steroids. Apparently GIMP has a second meaning. Anything in the old LimeWire days. Disney. Porn. Metallica. Also porn. Except porn. That was Shrek. I tried to look up the word brazier because I didn't know how to spell it. Turns out I spelled it so wrong that it was closer to brazzers. And well, you could guess how that turned out. When I wanted to find a picture of one of those no under 18s signs for a school project and searched 18 plus pics. Manhole cover. Back in the day, I think the Google image search was for huevos rancheros. But if you accidentally spelled it wrong, the first image of the search results was a picture of a guy frocking a dog. Yes, really. Polish stripper. Wanted to fix my floors. I was just searching BBC, how to reduce friction. Not porn as such, but I had to fix one of the dials on my mixer, so I typed gain knob into Amazon. I ended up getting books about how to grow my penis. Gardevoir abilities. I forgot they had synchronize. Isabelle from Animal Crossing. If you scroll a bit Cognitive behavioral therapy, otherwise acronymed CBT. I misspelt Large Hadron Collider as Large Hadron Collider while doing an image search via Google. Mistock. Haven't searched it. But R34 Ruin. Hollow Knight Hornet. Antibacterial squirter. Couldn't remember the name for hand sanitizer pump. I was trying to find smiling animals for a PowerPoint project in high school. Animal smile. Turned up an image of a ball python in a woman's angina. The kid next to me thought it was hilarious. Granny pictures. Saw a video of an grandma take a football to the face and found it hilarious. Went to find the video in ICT the next day to show my friends and was met with hairy naked 90-year-olds. A friend of mine worked at an infant's school, and one day the children were looking for images of things that can be used to carry water. One poor lad Googled jugs and ran crying from the computer saying that he hadn't done anything wrong. My mom's name. I love Dragon Ball Z. Yes. Let me search up Goku. This is not something to search up at school. Grandfather clock, but you forget the L. How to get along with stepsister. In Persona 5 there is a character that shouts for real all the time because they didn't want constant swear words. Well, apparently he did say frock one time, so I was interested when he said this. Googling P5 Ryuji frock. Only gave porn on work Wi-Fi. Goddammit. SCP-1471. Go to images and I can bet that at least one or the first 20 images will be porn. There was a hot box pizza where I used to live. Hotbox. Is not the address you want. I had just gotten into Yu-Gi-Oh and wanted to find out how to play. Everything was fine when I looked up monsters and spells. That all changed when I looked up traps. I was trying to find the Kayla Itsinus BBG Beach Body Guide and thought it was called the BBW Beach Body Workout. So I googled BBW workout at work because I was showing a colleague the program. Me and my friend were messing about. I thought it'd be funny to put into Google ass juice. Bad idea. We were 12. I was a kid searching band pictures back in the day. I decided to look up the band orgy. What does shota mean? I've posted this in the past, so I'll just repost it here. When I was a dumb kid in the mid-90s, the computer clock was wrong on the classroom computer. The World Wide Web, as everyone seemed to call it at the time, was very new to me, but I knew you could find this stuff out. But what website would it be on? My dumb frock little British brain decided Big Ben, or Co. UK was a good idea. My first introduction to gay porn at around 8 years old. As a 10-year-old I loved Pokémon and especially Entei. I misspelled it and wrote hentai, and next thing I know is Ash frocking May in the ass. Olive oil. We were French kids fan of WWE, so there's this dude called HHH, Triple H. So there must be other dudes named AABBB. You end up searching XXX and there's a whole lot of results. My dad once was looking up a restaurant called Han Dynasty. Turns out their website was Handy Nasty net. But he went to handynasty.com and found porn. Turns out Han Dynasty has the same letters in the same order as Handy Nasty. Nuggets. Back in the early days of the internet, if you wanted to go to Diggs Sporting Goods official website, you had to type diggssportinggoods.com. I was looking for some Looney Tunes episodes featuring Granny. All I could find was Granny-related porn. Had a science project around 6th grade where we had to do research on biomes or something and I got Marshes, which when put into Google on the library computer turned up a porn star named Michelle Marsh. Fun times. Researching Moby Dig was incredibly frustrating. Leave in dig, and you got porn. Take it out, and you got Moby the musician. FFS. A dude I work with Google a zero art number to figure out what it was for. Every single result was for some hardcore Chinese BDSM porno. No, I don't have the part number now. Facenook. I'm sure whoever bought that domain got rich quick when Facebook got tired of users. Typos leading to porn. I use DuckDuckGo as my default browser on my phone. I was talking to my 5-year-old nephew about frogs and I learned that he had never seen a tadpole. I pulled out my phone and just typed tadpole and did an image search. This is what searching for tadpole looks like. NSFW. Holy hell, I pulled my phone back so damn fast. I don't think he saw. Anywho, I'm gonna get a few tadpoles and raise them into frogs so he can see them grow and change when it warms up a little bit. Was a young kid who liked to play games on the computer. I remember there being some sort of website with flash games that was tailored to boys and girls. The boy games were like race cars and stuff. The girl games were fashion and stuff. I asked my dad if I can play those games again. He says no, but that wasn't going to stop me. I go into the computer room and type boys play com or something like that. Now I'm blind as frock, so I'm leaning in close while standing on the chair. My dad walks in on me looking at giant throbbing cocks. I was grounded for a long time. He was screaming something about how I was going to grow up to be a gay wife beater. I ask how am I supposed to get a wife if I'm supposedly gay? I was grounded for a long time. Back in the early 2000s I was searching for updates about the new Sid Meier's Civilization game. First hit back was hillbilly porn. A few years back I remember looking on Netflix for the comedy miniseries Love, with Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rust. Instead I clicked on the movie Love, which was one of those art house movies filled with extra-meal content right from the first scene. I guess not technically porn, but I couldn't tell you the difference. I was very innocently looking for pictures of poros, those adorable fluffy creatures from League of Legends, for reference pictures to draw, and at first it seemed alright. But apparently adding literally any second word to the search makes Google assume that when I typed poro, I actually meant porno. And then that's 100% of the results I get. Searched for Lucario, the Pokemon on Google Images about 15 years ago. Google said, "Did you mean runker?" Which means jerk off in Swedish. I didn't know what it was, but I clicked it, and there came up tons of pictures of gays having anal sex and sit. Scared the living crap out of me as a kid. Felt disgusted for weeks afterwards. Crazy how unfiltered Google used to be. That sit would never go down nowadays. Oh okay, I got one. I was in kindergarten when YouTube came out. My teacher showed us a video on it. I went home to get on YouTube, but all I remembered was the tube being in red, so I Google RedTube and porn. Young me mistaking the name of the animal armadillo with armadildo. Doing a project on Queen Victoria as a kid. Approximately 10. Trying to find pictures of her husband Prince Albert didn't turn up the images it'd been looking for. Penises. Pierced penises. First time I ever saw one. The teachers immediately shut the computers down and had us look for pictures in books instead to photocopy. Fallout inflation. I was looking for currency inflation in the Fallout games. Yes. I did go to the images tab. Yes. I was on a public library computer. No, I never went back. A friend showed me a funny site which I think was just named Fat Guy something. I was like 10-year-old and wanted to show my father, but I'm not a native English speaker, so I didn't realize guy is not written like gay. So I showed my father fat gay. It turns out you need to specify what flavor of cream pie you're looking for. Black Magic Mike. A colleague was trying to remember the name of the sequel to Magic Mike and I googled it from my work computer. A few years back my boss asked me to design a piece of material that would hold the cables apart while crane lifting one of our products. The technical term for this piece of material is a spreader bar. Anyway, I asked her to show me what it looked like, so I had a reference for the design, and she googled the term while I watched. Turns out there are two different kinds of spreader bars out there. Oh, also my boss was my aunt. That was an awkward day. Lol. My sister feels stuck. I worked with someone that thought it was a good idea to search for crack for Adobe Premiere by searching for Premiere crack at work. I bought some very cute rope toys for my dogs some months ago and felt inspired to do my own for hobby and maybe make some cash. Needless to say, I mostly found pettish ropes and people tied up. I just wanted to make some dog toys, man. X-Men. I was 7 years old and had heard people using bad words. One afternoon, my dad let me on the computer to play my littlest pet shop games. Well, Dad fell asleep on the couch, so I took advantage of that time to do dumb shit. So, me, still having those bad words in mind, went down the list and just put com after all of them. Most of them were unsuccessful, but when I typed in frock, com, I saw a naked girl with a dig in her mouth. I gagged and never clicked X so fast in my life. Beauty and the Beast. I was 10. My mom drugged me into her office with her after hours once, sat me down at a computer and went to do her thing. I got online and tried to go to the website of a band my middle school self had just discovered. Turns out that the teeny bopper ABBA cover band, has a more complicated website than just a .com. Oops. Someone got me to type Trump Rule 34 by telling me that's the loophole he was going to use to stay in office despite losing election. Like this was recent. I'm not new to the internet. I did media for a large church. They wanted to do a message called Got Prayer, ripping off the Got Milk ad campaign. A church administrator was hassling me in the video booth to show them what it would look like, so I searched Got Milk, and Google gave me denude images of a morbidly obese, large-breasted woman. I looked at reassured him, it probably won't look like that. Heath Ledger. The day he died, some jerk gamed the Google search and put a full-screen picture of a guy holding his dig on what looked like a news story link. Top result. This happened at work. The VP saw. Pretty brutal. FYI. A sounding rod is not the same as a tuning fork. When the show first came out and my sister was telling me about it, I hadn't heard of it. I googled Naked and Afraid. Search results had nothing to do with the show. Was looking for a game on Twitter and just searched the name. Did not expect the flood of dig pics I ended up with. Y'all need to come up with a better name for your dig than Excalibur. Before the millennium, my boss's boss came into my office and asked me some questions about what some universities were doing in our space. So like a noob, I opened up a browser and went to universities.com, which instantly brought up a porn site. My boss's boss was a woman in her 40s. She looked at me, I looked at her, and I closed the browser and we agreed to never speak of it ever again. Back when I was in school doing electronics, we used an integrated circuit called PIC08. I searched PIC08. Turned out PIC08 was of some rather scantily clad looking ladies. Virgin Airways. If you're ever trying to see if latex paint will bond to stucco, pick a search term other than latex bondage. Water sports. Wanted info on water skiing and renting a jet ski. I was young and very surprised. When I was really young, I wanted to change the background on my computer to a Hummer. Turns out I couldn't spell very well and I typed Hummer, which led to about 30 pop-ups of women sucks massive digs. Couldn't get rid of the pop-ups lol, so I shut the computer off by holding the power button. Mom used the computer next. No one believed me for years and I was grounded. Haha. I had to do a project for school about the structure of DNA. In my quest to research it, I made the mistake of going to the second page of Google Images. Turns out DNA Magazine is a gay man porn magazine. My child wanted me to obtain a movie called Deep. Turns out that calling a movie by a name that will bring up loads of porn is a very effective copy protection method. Had to shut the browser double quick. When I was a kid, Pokemon instead of Pokemon.